Hello, everyone. Forgive me for the shoddy introduction. I did this episode of Kungfusations and then completely forgot to do an intro, so I'm doing this kind of off the cuff. On this episode, I had the pleasure of sitting down with Joey Min, who is a director, fight choreographer, writer, actor, editor, cinematographer, and member of the Art School Dropouts team. If you don't know who they are, please check them out on YouTube. I'm very lucky to consider Joey a friend, and sitting down with him was very easy, and we had a fantastic conversation that ran through many topics, and we just had a grand old time. I hope you enjoy the conversation. I think it's a great one. So with no further ado, let's get to it.
These fools, they'll never learn.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you this question because I don't think in all the years I've known you, I don't think I've ever actually asked you, and that we've had a discussion about this. What originally got you into action cinema back in the day, or martial arts cinema, whichever one came first?
I definitely. So that's kind of like a weird little coincidence. I think. I mean, obviously, I think when I was a kid, I saw said Armor of God at like I there was like this kind of like this public theater a long time ago when I still living in Asia, right, as a kid, and I saw Armor of God, and the thing that really stuck with me forever was that scene where he jumped into the big giant ball and it was rolling down.
Yeah.
And I think part of me just that was like the first time I really kind of like got into the idea of like, oh, like the adventure and stuff. But the thing is, like, I've been training kung fu my like most of my life. And actually my sifu actually worked with Bobby Samuels and in Burger Cop, like Don't Give a Damn with
Oh, okay, yeah.
so that's kind of like I had this weird kind of like connection with like martial arts action cinema already, like growing up. And so many years later, I like found out that now I'm here in Jersey, that Bobby literally like lived like 20 minutes away, and I was like, what the hell? And I just kind of reached out to him because of met him through like a urban action film, like the first time they did it. So yeah, that's it. It's Jackie Chan. I think for most kids, or sorry, I don't want to say that. For most people that like started doing this whole martial arts action thing, it's definitely because one of the the legends, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was my gateway. Even though I obviously I don't make films, but my
Right.
love of this genre definitely started with Jackie. And funny enough, one of the early moments I saw that really blew me away with Jackie was from Armor of God, and it was
Yeah.
actually the Amazon fight at the end.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's still like one of my favorite things. Like, I think, what was it? This so we just had a shoot this past week, and so the first time we had like 12 stunt people, right?
Oh,
And that's
wow.
the first time I really brought together on our own project like that many people. And like the first thing I said is like, hey guys, I'm trying to kind of do the monk fight from Armor of God, like the feeling, that's what I'm trying to go for. So they at least kind of understood the beat that I'm going for, but then at the same time, there's some of them that are kind of young, so they don't know who Jackie.
Yes,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I never even thought about that. The younger generation now, which obviously I'm old now, and I tend not to realize I'm old, but the younger generation of fans or people in the industry, I suppose they might not be watching the films that
Oh my
we
gosh,
once watched.
right? Like, I mean, it's funny now that hearing some of the influence that the younger stuntmen have are from anime. Like, I know I
Oh,
remember talking. I think I mentioned the story before how we were talking with like a while back, and we're trying. I was doing like drunken boxing or whatever. Like that's the
mhm.
choreography I'm going for. And somebody goes like, "Oh, like Rock Lee," and I'm like, dude, his moves are exactly from like Jackie Chan's like movies, and those moves aren't real, right? Like the whole corkscrew move. Like I was like, oh my gosh, that's funny. But
That's so interesting. Yeah, and I
yeah.
guess it's interesting that anime would be something that like young stuntmen kind of got invested in early, because in my head the moves in anime don't necessarily translate to real life. So it's
Mhm.
I mean, some obviously yes, but it's interesting how some Saw anime and was just like, I want to do this and not go into
Right.
animation, but go into action instead.
Right? No,
Yeah.
it's I think, the cool thing is too, I think a lot of the influences in anime, I think the idea of having very dynamic camera angles, right?
Yeah.
And obviously I definitely wasn't possible before, but now with, they could build smaller and stronger cameras. You could really put those things. I mean, you could do stuff with the phone now, right?
Yeah.
And the people that, like, if you really think about it too, like 1,000 pounds, like they're the ones that really kind of push the live action anime, kind of
Right.
like the movement or something, and that was really cool, so like
Yeah.
they really kind of put together video game and anime into live action. I thought that was really awesome when they came out with that shit. I was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it was I do know I wish I could remember it. It's the My Hero Academia
Hmm.
live action short that
Yeah,
who was it who did that?
it was I know, like, Jay Kwan was in there. I think it was
Was it Brian Sloyer who did the or am I
no,
wrong?
it's oh my gosh, Cohen. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I know Guy De
um
Silva was in it as
yeah.
well. Yeah. Oh my
Well, I
god.
mean, he's the same guy that did the Kingsman,
Got you.
choreography.
Got
But
you.
the thing is, like, their thing goes beyond, like, before that. It was like Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
Like, I guess they were doing stuff for Street Fighter 4, and that was like oh my god, I feel so bad. I can't remember his name. And I met him once, and like, he was giving me advice when I was like starting out with like filmmaking and stuff. So it was like
We
something
forgive you.
Cohen. Sorry.
Oh, Chris
Right.
Cohen.
Chris Cohen.
Of
There we go.
course.
Oh my god. See, I
Chris
wanted to
Cohen.
say for some odd reason I want to say Richard Cohen. I like Cohen. I was like, that's not it. Or
Yeah,
yeah, Chris.
I can't believe I forgot that because he worked on Shang-Chi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Right.
I should have known that as well. Yeah. Very,
Right.
very interesting way of making action. I really
Right.
like
No,
his stuff.
it's definitely very you know, it's a really great blend of camera and vision, and
Yes.
so that became its own style, if you really think about it, trying to emulate anime style
Yeah.
vision
Yeah.
into to real life. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would see how they do stuff with the gimbal, and he's like on a like a hoverboard, and he's like zipping across the field, and I was like, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, and I was thinking about doing something like that too. But
Yeah, I think it's we're getting more innovative people, or not even that. It's just the innovation, I guess, is also tied, like you mentioned earlier, to the equipment that you can now get.
mhm,
You can get smaller cameras that kind of fit in places that bigger cameras wouldn't fit, and all sorts like that. So I
right,
appreciate the new kind of not just the style of fighting that we're getting in films and short films, but the style of camera work as well. It's pretty unique.
yes, it's a it's completely the opposite of kind of like what I'm doing, since I'm very much still tied to the idea of very, very Shaw Brothers, I guess.
Yep.
But I'm trying to just update it, modernize like the camera movements. But it's still very much I'm focused on talent performance, I think. And that's also kind of what makes it kind of hard, I think, a lot of the
Yeah.
times when we do this stuff, right?
So why Shaw Brothers? Why are you tied to that era?
I I really, well, my first love always will be Shaolin Kung Fu. But and as I was growing up, I had it was kind of weird. Like, it's kind of like a gang mentality when you have, like, when you practice one particular style, you're like, oh yeah, kung fu forever. But then I think as I grew up, I started like learning other martial arts, because like I just fell in love with martial arts, and
Mhm.
next thing you know, it's you know the I guess I'm like, it's kind of like very much like the palette that I have tasted that I can't go back on now, right? It's more like, because of the Shaw Brothers style, while it was still very, sometimes very stage fighty,
Yeah.
since then they have to really focus on the people's movements and the talents movements, and they really show a very fantastical way of martial arts, right? And
Mm.
it's not just, it wasn't just kung fu. They show they would like karate or like Japanese martial arts and whatnot, and I just fell in love with that. I love highlighting very it's very specific martial arts techniques, and I think that's kind of like the direction that I was going through. And I know when I was starting out and growing up and trying to do like early 2000s and making like these type of things, like wushu became prominent again here in America, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of turned into the spectacle of flying and like flipping around. And my sifu, when I trained, was very adamant that we all stay on the ground, right? Because he was very combative. He was a very combative
Yeah.
you know sifu. So that's the thing. So instead of like learning flips, I'm South Shaolin guy, so I do a lot of like grounded like techniques, and then but it kind of I like fell in love with it, and
Yeah.
that kind of like led me into learning weapons that it's not like wushu style, like definitely like the little intricacies and whatnot. And then I think learning I did kyokushin for a little bit, and I started picking up different style of martial arts and just seeing how each people move. And like I think watching my mentors and that practice martial arts, and they're old men,
Yeah.
right? But you see the movement that it's practiced over like decades, right? Like the lifetime. I don't know, it's very fantastical to me. I guess I romanticize like martial arts.
Yeah.
That's why.
I
That's
think
why
a,
like very.
I think a lot of us do. I think
Yeah.
it's very the idea of the martial world is very
Mhm.
alluring, I think.
Oh yeah, that's why I think when I don't have wide shots where people are flipping, I have like close up shots where you see like transitions from like, you know, tiger into like crane or something like that. Seems in a way that's like, oh, okay, that's really cool to me. Might not, but obviously it's a very niche kind of feeling sometimes.
Yeah, but the fan base that love that stuff, they want that stuff, right? We
I,
love, yeah, we love seeing the shapes
I,
and the
yeah,
and the kind of yeah, like you said, the transition between styles and the hands
right.
and stuff. Yeah, we love that
I mean,
stuff.
because I'm part of the fan base. I'm literally just trying to feed us. Like
Exactly.
I'm trying to cook because no one really does it anymore, right? So,
Yeah,
well,
that's very true.
yeah,
It's I think I I think those that do it every now and again, they really put a modern spin on it. And there's nothing wrong with that, really. But
yeah.
sometimes, I don't know, sometimes from my perspective, you just need good old fashioned stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the thing too, right? Like it's I mean, it's not like nobody does it anymore.
Mm,
I just but I'm also, since I've consumed a lot of that, I'm also trying to like put my own flavor or spin to it. So which is obviously gets harder as I get older, like trying to do like kung fu shapes
yeah.
but at modern speed is like and sometimes when I ask that from people, and it's like really hard obviously because it's it's like an extra three beats that you don't really flow
Yeah.
into, right? Just to be able to show it to the camera but also move in a believable combat speed. It's difficult.
So on that note, how do you feel about undercranking? Do you like the idea of
I
it and that you would use it?
Yeah, no, I and that's the thing too. Like I think the other influence that I have is Wu Ping, right? So, and one of the things that I basically what really started me into doing like martial arts cinema
Hmm.
is Iron Monkey. Was
Yeah.
Iron Monkey, right?
Right.
And that obviously when I was a kid, I didn't think that had undercranking. For some odd reason, I was like, oh my god, these people
Neither
are
did I.
fucking insane, right?
Yeah, of
These people
course.
are like going fast speed. But then uh but I understand that they were undercranking it, obviously because of like technology and whatnot, but I think also trying to really show the style like cleanly, but also
Yeah.
having it like with a particular speed. So starting because of that, that's when I started to believe like, holy crap, I'm like like we're slow. We are not as good as these people because like when we were teenagers making like little films like this, and we couldn't go as fast, right?
Right.
So that's when I really started taking my training really really seriously because I wanted to go as fast as Iron Monkey,
Okay.
fucking believing that that was not undercranked, right? So but that stuck with me, and I think there's a lot of reasons now where I like to push my talent to do that, because when I'm asking them to really push their limits, like there's a particular speed that I like. It's very much not as fast as under cranking but a little bit slower, but
Yeah.
I would ask people to do that so they I can see the natural exertion on their body movements, right? So
Yeah.
now I don't have to ask them to act like, oh, I want you to try to kill this guy, right? I need you to do this choreography, this clean, this fast. And then you see that they're really like, stressing themselves to do it. And it translates well in front of the camera where they're like,
Wow.
okay, that's what I figured. And I'm like, oh, I like that. So
That's
especially with
awesome.
Steph too, like, hey, Steph, I need you to kick this fast and this clean. And then, after like 3 takes, you see her like really pushing it. And I'm like, that's the shot, right? So
That's really interesting because the first time I stumbled across your work, which is many, many years ago,
mhm.
um, I remember thinking that your style was faster than other people's. Like the moves on screen were faster, and I remember God, I wish I could remember what video it is. I'm so annoyed that I don't remember, but I remember seeing the speed of it, but noticing that it wasn't sped up.
Mm.
I felt like it wasn't the mood, like the it must have been Steph. It must have been Steph that she was moving at that speed, and
Mhm.
that kind of stuck with me a little bit because I don't. By the way, I don't mind undercranking. I'm a fan
Right.
of it if done
Oh
right.
yeah.
I mean everyone does it, so
Yeah,
you know.
there are so I do this thing actually. I like learned from Eric Jacobus a long, long time ago.
Mm.
Actually, instead of undercranking, I actually cut frames because
Oh yeah,
because like people are like most of the time, a lot of the talent I rarely push them, right,
yeah,
and they're going. I know as fast as they can, and I tend to start editing the fight scene in the way like their top speed. I feel like,
yeah.
right, so that's why a lot of our videos, if you were to watch it, depending who's performing, some is faster, some is slower, But basically, I would like to see when I cut to like action. I really like to see a lot of the action already at top speed, and I don't want to see that acceleration. So that's
Okay.
when I cut frames to just
Oh
like have
wow.
it, like obviously like a swing instead of like it's like
Yeah.
automatically, right? And I just so
That's
that's what I do.
awesome. Yeah.
So,
I appreciate that because, like I said, I've always thought your stuff was just naturally fast, and I mean, I think it's great. I think it's a great usage of
yeah.
a tool, and again, I think everyone does it,
Hmm.
and I think I'm talking about actual in movies,
Hmm.
whether it be Hollywood, whether it be Jackie Chan.
Hmm.
I think there is an aspect of whether
Oh
it's
yeah,
frame cutting or whether just I think
it's
Monkey Man did it a lot, if I remember
oh yeah,
correctly.
no, the Monkey Man definitely did a lot. But the thing
Yeah.
is, like, I ultimately, I think when I first started, definitely there was an ego part of it, like, oh yeah, we're performing at this speed, whatever. But
Mhm.
eventually, I grew into becoming more of a full fledged director, and it's the vision, right? So it's
Yeah.
not like if it sells the story because like maybe a punch has to be faster than anything because this character is summoning all of his power to knock this
Yeah.
guy out, right, and you need to undercrank it, why not, right? Or like
Yeah.
or the pacing, like these two actors or like the whatever, they're getting more desperate and they're just throwing wild attacks and they're getting faster and faster. It's pacing, and I completely understand it. As long as it tells a good story, that's where I'm at.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, use
Yeah.
your tools that are available to you to
Yes,
put your
exactly.
vision on the screen. That's
Exactly.
great.
Yeah.
So we're talking about actually, when you first got into it, when did you realize not that you loved martial arts or martial arts cinema? When did you
Mhm.
realize, hey, I can do fight choreography? I know obviously. I mean, what came first? Was it were you directing for like small films as a teenager that had no martial arts, or was it martial arts choreography
Oh,
that came first?
I martial arts choreography was that's my basis. It's in high school, we actually had like a media class in my high school. I think it was like a brand new kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I think it was really meant for TV, like TV production and stuff.
Okay.
And I'm sorry. I was about to curse. Sorry. I don't know
No,
if that's
fuck, you
oh
can curse all you want.
okay, thank God. Okay, good. So
Yeah.
yeah, so like in high school, we had this media class. It was like a brand new. It was supposed to be for TV production and whatnot. And because I actually went to a very affluent high school, I guess,
Mm,
and so we were doing that. But everybody was like talking. It was more like I said, like more narrative, maybe news style stuff. But I already knew I wanted to do fucking martial arts stuff.
nice.
So I did this like fight scene, and I was like the only one out of like the entire like school stuff, like everyone was just doing music videos or like, like not even heavy acting yet. It was just like, and me, and I'm doing this fucking fight scene, and it was fucking terrible. Like I have the VHS somewhere. I need to like transfer that and show people where I started. But
That'd be
it was
awesome.
like it was really bad. Like it was just like I didn't understand cutting in motion. So
Mm.
we did it like every like wushu form. It would be like pop, 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 and we pause. Then the next cut, we have like it started on the pause, and we're like
Oh,
pop.
yeah, yeah.
So it was like it didn't. It was always there's always a break, right?
Yeah, like disjointed from kind
Yeah,
of moment to moment or section to section. Yeah, I
right.
get
And
you.
and for some odd reason, like I can see it, I'm like, what's wrong? I don't know why I can't seem to like I for some reason I couldn't figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So I did what like any early 2000. I don't even know. I think this is the first time I put like there was like this viral video of a cat going like this and then getting tackled by another cat, and I just put that at the end just to save the like video for I don't know why. But anyways, but that's where it started, and I think um because of that though, uh that's also the advent of digital filmmaking,
Yeah.
and that's where I saw Zero Gravity and Stunt People. Actually, I don't know. Have you heard of Kun before? Todd Roy.
No, I don't think so.
So they're like it's like comedy martial arts, like Kung Lei was in it and everything, and it's
Okay.
basically the he had this idea he was gonna make. I don't know if he ever finished it, and I know he bought all of the DVDs, so you can't find it. I think I have like 2 episodes on my computer, but basically he wanted to do like 4 episodes, and they were like pretty high quality,
Hmm.
but he was going to go backwards. So he would do the 4th episode first. So by the
Okay.
time he would get to the first episode, it would be like his best skill up to date, right?
Right.
I think he only did 2 episodes,
Okay.
right? So 4 and 3, right? And I have them somewhere. And that they were like the first online almost web series, like
Oh.
but it also with a weird like started with the episode 4, right? So I don't even know, but
Yeah.
but it was that, and I think, but there were like notable people on there, like there's this Hungar Sifu from like Connecticut, I believe, or Massachusetts. Name is Onassis Padunga or something like that, right?
Hmm.
And like he's kind of like a known name in the kung fu world too, right? So and just knowing that these people did like actual martial arts and whatnot, and then because of them, Stunt People and Zero Gravity, and I got to meet some of them when I was younger. I did like this like what I have like this video that I did with Vlad a long time ago. It was like I did a fight scene with him, and it was really cool. And like just seeing how everybody is now and how they progressed and
Yeah.
inspired like generations of you know um action filmmakers and talents. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I think I think I still claim or I still want people to it. So a lot of people watch, whatever kung fu films from wherever they may be, Hong Kong, China, or whatever. But I really want people who enjoy the genre to really look at YouTube and look at all these smaller, quote unquote, smaller people that started, the stunt
Yeah,
people, sorry, stunt people, Zero Gravity, and those people, and go back and watch their stuff, because it's all good and well that you've seen whatever Clown and the White Lotus and Armor of God and Pedicab
yeah,
Driver, but have you seen Contour, for example? Have
yeah.
you seen something like that? And there's such a wealth out there for people to
Hmm.
find from over the years. I mean, some people started, you yourself started
Yeah,
many, many years ago, and there's
right.
such a wealth to go back to, and a lot of it holds up very, very well.
It's amazing actually watching a lot of their old stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, recently I think another friend of ours that just kind of like is being part of the team. He's helping me. He's like another filmmaker,
Hmm.
and he was talking about like like Zero Gravity. I was like, yeah, dude, like fucking title pending and stuff. And he was like, and he brought it up, and he's watching the old stuff, and you can see that the the ideas were there,
Hmm.
simply because of the fact that it's they're younger people with digital cameras that was
Yeah.
easily you could put stuff together, and there were trying things that you were unable to do with like a bigger camera, with like a
Yeah.
bigger production. And then, and then it, like, I'm just saying, like, now that, like, basically I'd like to think Vlad's influence in the, Hollywood universe is definitely felt, right, with
Yeah.
everybody that's part of it. And I think that's like amazing, like he, and it's really cool. Like the stuff that he does now is very much a more refined version of the stuff that he was doing then. Like he really stuck to
Right.
his guns and ran with it, and he changed the atmosphere, the landscape of action cinema here in America. Like that's amazing.
That's incredible. And I mean, not that I'm speaking badly about him at all, but some people might not know his name, you
Which
know?
is silly, but hey man, at least he has a legacy. He knows it. Kids will know it. We
Yeah.
would all know it. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a while to get into the whole online community of martial arts,
Mhm.
cinema, and short filmmaking, and I spent a long time well away from it and not even knowing that it
Mm,
existed. I had to go back and watch a lot of stuff, which is, for me, amazing because there's nothing better than going so far and loving a genre, and then you're like, oh,
mm.
I've seen most of everything, and then all of a sudden someone goes, yeah, but if you checked out these 200 short films that you've
Right.
got to see or more. Yeah, it's
and,
kind of
and
amazing.
and some of them really have that, at least the performance, right? Even if they don't have the money, but the
Yeah,
performance and the shots, when they know what they're doing, it's
yeah,
they're amazing. These people are it's yeah, that's it. I'm just like, now I'm thinking about all the other things, and I'm like really really proud of what everybody's been doing for like all these years.
yeah. It's incredible. And you've been doing it now on YouTube for how long?
uh Technically 10 years. Well,
Wow.
actually more than that. I think when YouTube started,
Hmm.
there was that, I was before I actually stopped, because like I had health issues a long time ago, about like, oh man, probably about like 18, close to 20 years ago or something like that,
Okay.
right? And when YouTube just started, we put out this fight scene. It was called like No Way Out. It's like, and the tag was like Wing Chun versus Taekwondo or something. Because
Okay.
like I actually filmed this short film. It's not good, and I never want to show it to anyone. But it was like like I bought like this, basically back then it would be like the industry standard camera. It's like it's a DVX AB or something.
Yeah.
And I had my friend, he was a younger kid, but like he would, I mean, now he's like doing film stuff too. His name is John Trey. But he helped me film something, and it was like in this ditch near where I lived. And it was my friend, who is the son of one of my other martial art mentors.
Hmm.
And we just did this fight scene, and I wanted to go for, whatever, like gritty realism, even though I have like a katana and he has like little kunai. So it doesn't, now that I'm saying it, sounds really stupid, but yeah, so we put that out on YouTube. And this is when, like I said, YouTube was started. And I guess you could have called it viral, because
Mm,
like an
okay.
editor back then, there was like an actual human editor that would pick what they like, and they will put it up on YouTube on
Oh,
the front
cool.
page. And we were like the third video, right? And I remember going to a family party with my in-laws, my not my in-laws, my sister's in-laws, right? And they were like, by the time I got there, like a couple of the tech savvy people that were in like the extended family, they were like, "Oh my god, we saw your videos on YouTube. It's like it's on there. That's amazing." At first, I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Right? And at this time, I wasn't really pursuing a career.
Right.
Like I said, like I was just recovering from uh like big health issues and whatnot. And it was on there, and like there was like a sort, like, a sense of pride. And I was like, oh my god, that's amazing, like. And but I never took it seriously, and I felt like I could have probably rode that to to a higher
Oh, yeah.
status. But at that point, I couldn't move, I couldn't really walk that well. So so but yeah.
That's such a like fucked up story in a way
Yeah,
because
I
you
know.
could have rode that into God knows where. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously you
right.
are where you are now, but
Mhm.
it's such if you could have kind of captured that lightning in a
Yeah.
glass back then. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But it was really, I was really happy that people like really appreciate that, and
yeah.
because Yeah, I think because like before that there was like this MySpace. I think I posted this thing before, like this MySpace John Woo film festival kind of thing to promote his video
Oh
game.
yeah.
And I like we were supposed like made a short supposed to be one of the finalists, had a phone call and everything from MySpace on a landline phone, which is still kind of funny because I was waiting for it. And they changed the rules like kind of like the last minute, and then we didn't like
Ah,
apply it anymore. It was like the week before, and I was like, I was kind of bummed. I was
yeah.
really maybe I was a little torn up about it, but
Oh, that's
I guess
nice.
that was part of being a filmmaker. I think.
Oh, fuck MySpace.
Hey man.
Actually, speaking of John Woo,
Mm.
um, how do I mean? I know you've done kind of various short films incorporating this, but how do you feel about gunplay?
I love gunplay. Like, sorry. No, okay, I do, but I'm very much more of a John Woo than a John Wick. Like, I
Okay.
like the concept of I like tactical stuff, but I
Yeah.
rather make it tactical.
Yes.
Like, I want to change physics around or something, right? And whatnot. And I think that's the thing too. Like, I think this year when Steph and I were talking about like how we want to be a little bit more like go back. All right, phone, you need to be quiet. But basically, you want to do something more akin to like how we used to do stuff, like being more weird. I guess that's
Okay.
the term, right? Because yeah, so that's why like I like the genre. I like the diving. I like the cinematic. Like what was that? Like bullet time,
Yeah.
right? And I like that. I think there was something. Well, I think it's a good if I could mix the two. I like the idea of tactics, right? And like logical, because in the end it's still a martial art, I think, right? So
Oh
if
yeah.
people like gunfighters or like a team and they're clearing a room, it makes sense for them to have logic. So it's like
Hmm.
you know complete efficiency. So the bad guys have to be smarter to be able, something that you wouldn't expect. Just people wouldn't just fucking not check a corner that's around
Right.
them. And next thing you know, somebody's there, right? Like, So yeah, that's the thing. I really love gunplay. And I think one of the scripts that we have that I hope to uh put together soon is
Hmm.
something with that. But we have to make it like low budget. but they're like also fit a story, so there's a reason why it's low budget. So yeah.
But a lot of your gunplay videos, they've, I mean, granted the low budget, but it looks great. I mean,
I
the
think it's funny, right?
yeah,
With the Nerf guns. I
yeah,
love it.
it looks great. There's a I think obviously it's very specific to you guys, which is
Mhm,
amazing because you guys have your specific style. But
mhm.
at the end of the day, someone can watch it just be like, this is dope. This is
Like
it's good stuff.
they could, but I also though a lot of the I guess like the stunt guys or the people that we're working with,
Hmm.
I also want them to be able to use the particular footage that we shoot or whatever for them to be able to get jobs, right?
Yeah.
And I know recently, uh, this past week we shot with somebody, and he started out with us. It was a long time ago when we first started. It was Nerf Assassin 2.
Okay.
It's like this Filipino martial art grandmaster. So this guy's also known in the martial art community.
Right.
He's an older gent, and we had this fight scene. Well, the whole concept is like we're having this knife fight with their foam Nerf weapons, but we having like this double bladed knife fight in the middle of a war zone, and people are like, there's bullets flying past us, right? And obviously, it was really hard to capture with the equipment that we have, but that was
Yeah.
the idea, right? And we're just having this, it's kind of like that one on one battle kind of feel, and I really loved it. He apparently really loves it, but a lot of I guess casting age or at least like coordinators can't really take it seriously because it's Nerf and we have
Okay.
so I understand too, right? So and I think
Yeah.
that's like the probably like one of the downsides of like working with this, 'cause we're goofy, I guess we like to keep it fun, and we're not really trying to be Hollywood.
Yeah.
We're on YouTube. It's like there's no reason for us to be like doing YouTube stuff. We don't have Hollywood stuff. We don't have that money, right?
Right.
So it's
Right.
like, So we have to be like, hey, like let's do a gunfight. Oh, but we could afford $20 Nerf guns. We put that shit together.
Yeah, but I love the fact that you do that because you've always, or as long as I've known your channel, you've always at your core incorporated humor and
Yeah.
lightheartedness, right? You
Yeah.
don't do well. You have got dark videos, which I absolutely love. The
Mhm,
lady videos in particular but I love those videos. Which
mhm,
I'm going to get onto those in a second. Actually, I have a
mhm.
question about that. But
Okay.
you've always kind of introduced this, or not introduced, but you've always had this like comedic eye. Has that just
Mhm.
been something that you've just, were you like the class clown back in the day?
I I think so, but I didn't think I was. Like I think I was, but I didn't know it.
Yeah.
So, right. But because I think it's too, like I think I wanted to always promote martial arts.
Hmm.
And what made me fall in love with martial arts was just because of like the Jackie Chan stuff. Right? Like there's some, you get punched in the face, it's not blood, you're not breaking, and it's like they do the whole
Yeah.
and it's like it's funny, it makes you feel good, and it's kind of like I want to learn martial arts because of that. Maybe it wasn't for the violence, but maybe it was for to feel cool or whatever. Because I
Yeah.
want to do like really cool kicks or something, but there's a lot of benefits of getting into a martial arts school and training in martial arts, health benefits and whatnot. So I've always wanted, like, I think one of my main things is always I want to highlight and promote martial arts. But
Yeah. That's
yeah,
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
but also doing serious stuff costs a lot of money. Like it's that too, right?
That's a good point. I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah,
The more serious stuff does cost more, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah.
Speaking of serious stuff, and this is what I was referring to when I mentioned the lady. So how do you feel about, I guess, graphic violence? Obviously, on a lower budget, you can't include crazy spurting blood and all this kind of
Mhm,
stuff. But in films in general, and the idea of graphic violence, are you a fan of that? Like, obviously, we're getting more from like Indonesia. The Shadow
mhm, mhm.
Strays, absolute gore fest. It feels like a
Right,
horror film. Are you a
right.
fan of that or not?
I Well, technically, I'm not really a fan of it, but as a director, I actually appreciate the cross pollination of genres. Like the idea
Mm,
of like you take a martial arts film and a slasher film and you put it together and you have Raid. I was like, whoa, like and
yeah,
I guess I didn't think about it until I got older, but like looking back on it now, because ultimately I really don't like I like the Raid as a concept
hmm,
because it's basically Judge Dredd, really. But
yeah,
but I dislike the action or the martial art. Like I feel like it looks like they're always swimming, right? It's
yeah. That's, I
very
think
wide.
that's a critique people have, the old swingy
Yeah.
arms.
And I don't think it's bad. I just like more uh how do you say it? Like very exact movements. I think I come from the idea of the school of thought where a blade is meant to be felt, not seen. So
Okay.
and I really like, and the thing is with me too, like I really like my bad guys. Well, one, if it's like I've always liked one-on-ones. I think I
Yeah.
like one-on-ones the most, right? But and I always want to choreograph two masters, basically.
Yeah.
That's the choreography that I really like. And I think I think you understand that, where it's not like punch punch and they put their guard down and they get hit, right? They're
Yeah.
like the other person has to work for that hit. That's why I like a lot of blocking, a lot of like dodging, like people
Yeah.
at the very top, and then they mess up once and they get tagged and it repeats again, right?
Yeah.
And I really like that. So that's why I think ultimately, like slasher films or like raid style films, or like the gore thing, it's hard for me to believe that there's so many bad guys that would be willing to run in without caring for their lives, right? Because like
Yeah.
that's why I really like Jackie Chan or like Shaw Brothers bad guys. It's like in any universe, if you watch like Jackie Chan bad guys in a multi-man fight, they work as like one unit. They're like it's a
Yes.
hive mind,
Yes.
right? Like one person works off, and I think that's really cool, right? I mean, obviously that's like really impossible in terms of real life, but like that's cool when, you know, like yeah, like the Amazon fights,
Yeah.
they were relentless, and I think that's like to me that's like the hardcore idea of a Power Ranger team where they fight one monster, they should not like that monster has no chance in hell of like surviving when they're all like in tune with each other like that. And I really want my bad guys and to be like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like they preserve their life. Like they're not going to do anything stupid out of nowhere. And I think that's I think that's the problem that I have with the slasher type films, because they just run in to just get killed. Right.
Yeah, a lot of cannon fodder in those
Hmm.
films. Yeah, I think as a as someone, I actually got into the horror genre before I got into martial arts. So there's a part of me that loves that, and I'm sure a lot of people love that. Just people going in and getting slaughtered essentially. But
Right.
from a logic perspective, it
Yeah.
doesn't quite work. I
Right.
absolutely
As long
understand.
as it's part of the story, right? I feel
Yeah,
like if it's part of the story, then okay. But if it's just for the spectacle, I can enjoy it. But ultimately, I don't know if it would like really stand the test of time to watch the entire film.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, yeah.
So
Um, so speak, that's kind of the modern style of filmmaking, adding a little bit more violence. When you want influence or inspiration, sorry, I should say, what do
mhm.
you revisit or what do you visit these days? Like, do you
Oh
watch things
shit.
and go, okay, I need to just a good time. I need to sit down and watch a whatever video. Do you do that or do
Yeah,
you not?
I
You do.
have. I have a. I have like I guess my fight scene Bible that I
Okay.
always kind of, and it's, I think you already know, I think I mentioned this, but the top two is Legendary Weapons of China, right? And Magnificent Butcher, right?
Nice.
And those are my two. Then obviously, like everything else, there's a lot of like, then after that, it's like, I don't know, Lady is a Boss or something. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like kind of like Lau Kar Long and Samo
Yeah.
are kind of like my thing. And I think I actually adopted a lot of Samo's ideas in terms of like filmmaking
Yeah.
to fit Steph
Yeah.
particularly, right? Like um I think it's Steph, obviously, like her frame and the stuntman that we have, to me, like when I'm watching it, still being a martial artist, is like that's really hard for me to believe that Steph could could block a
Yeah.
hit from like a very somebody that's like twice her body mass and like block it straight, like
Yeah.
so it doesn't make sense to me. So I have to, like, for her, when I choreograph, everything has to be very direct. Like she's only attacking uh vitals, like kind of like, what was it, Three Little Ninjas, like
Yeah.
you have the dummy and eyes, nose, neck,
Yeah.
under the arm, stuff like that. So that's basically where I try to like choreograph for her. But to give her more oomph with her power, I
Yeah.
started doing the whole Samo's quick cuts. Like I know it was, I know that's like a Shaw Brothers thing, but
Mhm.
he modernized it for his time. Now
Yeah.
I'm kind of doing it too, like as much as I can modernize it, but like a very punchy one move highlights, as like it might be mundane, but it's like power, right?
Yeah.
And it makes like now, like I think the first time I really did that for Steph was actually after Lady. I think it was like versus with her and Ange.
Yeah.
And then I was like watching that, and that's kind of like one of my favorite things too. I'm like, dude, they look very mean, and I really love that. And that's when I started, like, that's like the next evolution of like how we started filming, and
Yeah.
having a lot of girls on the team, and obviously like their size discrepancy over the stuntmen. Like I felt like I really needed to do that, and I really love that now.
Yeah. If anyone is watching this and you don't know who Steph is, that's Stephanie Pham, who is your partner in Art School Dropouts.
Yeah, she and I are like Art School Dropouts. I think and I know I told this story before, but I just say, like, oh, I met her because I needed an actress to get over like my ex, and I wrote this like Valentine's script about moving on, and I have it on YouTube. And like Steph was like the actress that I met through another person in Art School Dropouts, because they went to school together, and very bubbly.
Yeah.
And I hated her when I met her, because like literally the night before, my ex like called me and started drama, and like my heart was breaking. And like next day met her. Then we went, like, she said something silly. Like I was like, we went to, like, there's a big group of us went to dinner, and then like I paid for it, of course, right? And it's like, oh, let's go get dessert. We were like in Chinatown, and I said like, oh, let's go to Kung Fu Tea, because
Yeah.
of course. And she's like, fuck Kung Fu Tea, let's go somewhere else, right? And like I couldn't talk to her anymore at that point. But then when we got to this place, it's like it's a I forgot whatever tea place it is. See, I can't even fucking remember.
Yeah.
Like there was these like I'm already like in a very bad mood, and there is these two guys and one girl that's like in like just made a snarky comment like
Mm.
you guys better not like cut in line. I'm gonna fight you or something silly
Yeah.
like that. And I'm like, hey, fine, I'm ready, right? So these two guys are like kind of like stepping up to me and they're like already wanting to fight and I'm getting loose, right?
Right.
I turned around and I thought like my boys would back me up. They're not there, but Steph is like limbering up and taking off her earrings. And I was like, oh shit. And that's when we kind of became best friends, right?
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's
That's a
I mean,
great story.
yeah, that's all because like I mean that's when I saw her Facebook too. She was like her pictures are not the typical actress model girl pictures because it's
Mhm.
all taekwondo shit. Like all of
Oh,
her photos are
yeah,
all
of course.
taekwondo shit. So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess she does martial arts, right? So she loves it. And then we kind of connected with the whole when I loved Jackie Chan and Lau Kar Lung, she's younger, so she grew up watching Jet Li, and that's her
Yeah.
influence stuff. So like, her favorite movie is like Legend of Fong Sayok
Yep.
1
Yep.
specifically, I think. Yeah, so that there we go. That was a connection. And then like it was just like a match made in heaven because like, now she's doing more of the business side, like the
Yeah.
business and scheduling, but she's also my DP. And I hate to say it, she is like far better with a camera than I am now. And I feel bad because I don't know if I can capture her the way that she could capture me. And I
Oh,
need to
wow.
I need to
Yeah.
practice. Yeah.
Good point. I didn't think about
Right.
that there's only two of you essentially
Yeah,
doing
there's
that.
only two of us, right? So
Yeah.
like I do all the script writing, editing, planning of like whatever is in front of the camera, and I edit that. But while I'm doing that, she's already like getting the stuntmen together, getting the
Yeah.
doing the budget, finding props, all of that. And of course, like we also have Angela. While she's not really like Art School Dropouts because she has her own thing.
Yeah.
It's called AJ Kick 101 if you guys want to check her out. Like, but she does like a lot of the extra stuff. Like she after this week did like she was doing our costumes design and like props and it looks once I might show you later or something but like she made props and everything and it was like wow this is awesome like
Wow.
the ability right so us the three of us that's why people think that we have like a big team it's like
Yes. Yeah. It's
and,
I think that's great because it is just the three of you and
yeah,
the fact that you're very multifaceted and kind of each have very unique talents really contributes to Art School Dropouts as a whole. It's
and
pretty awesome.
yeah and it's I'm super impressed like I think this week when I was like looking at our footage and I was putting it together all I could keep saying to myself was like who are we like what happened like how do we get like it looks to me it looks I felt like I know we were talking about like before I was saying like Gunslinger Mary if you guys haven't seen it check it out please I thought that was like the best thing we shot
Hmm.
and then we did this project like literally this week and I'm like getting over it and it's like holy shit this is the best thing we shot
Awesome.
and it looks like really professional to me and I'm like my god like I don't know what happened I like it's looking back at what we're doing like YouTube fight scene sketches like you know Pokemon Go or some shit and now we're doing this thing I'm like oh my god like we really did learn a lot and I'm really proud of us
But isn't that crazy, or isn't that good? I should say that
yeah
you can be at a stage in your career essentially where you can go. This is still to this day. This is the best thing we've done. This is the best
yeah
thing, and you can keep on one upping
oh
yourself. I think that's awesome.
I think that's I think that's the joy of one. I'm sure some people would think that we're or at least I'm limiting myself by not pursuing like Hollywood like
Yeah.
hardcore, right? But I also know the joys of like I'm also doing this for the joy of it, right? And
Hmm.
I have a lot of fun when Steph would say something stupid like, "Oh, what if like this person does this?" And it sounds really dumb, but then my brain starts working. I'm like, "Oh my god, that's fucking genius. Let's make that shit happen." Right. And that's the fun part. And I think I know a lot of once you get too professional, I know eventually you lose that magic. Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I hope that, I'm not trying to be ultra fucking rich from what we're doing, but I would love to make a living out of what we're doing. But but what we're doing. I don't
Yeah.
want to work for Disney, where it's like the fight scenes technically are already planned,
Right.
stuff like that. And I think that's cool, but I don't know what I could do with superhero number 47, right?
Right. You want that freedom to be able to.
Right,
You don't want to be like restricted so much in your
right.
creativity that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a cop out too, but it's true.
Yeah.
I really, it's I'm really happy that we could just do stuff with like Nerf guns, but at the same time, I'm sure I could translate that into like real gun choreography.
Yeah, yeah. But it's interesting what you hear from sometimes Hollywood stunt people who are like, oh, we are on this. For example, I spoke to someone who was on Deadpool, the most recent Deadpool, and they were like, oh, we put together this amazing fight sequence. It was absolutely mind blowing, wonderful, and it was just edited to shit and just ruined. And your
Right?
creativity gets shit on
Yeah,
essentially because
right.
you have this idea, and when you do it, you're like, look, we've created this amazing thing, and then
Hmm.
someone walks in and fucking ruins it. It's
That's the
crazy.
thing, right? And like, there's so many people that have their hands on a particular, like the coordinator and the choreographer and the stuntman. They possibly could have done like something really awesome,
Yeah,
right? And like whoever's shooting it, they shot it correctly, right? It's
yeah,
just that the process down the line, because it's whispered down the lane, right?
right.
And it's not the original vision, and it's like it might not be the original vision, but it's like I don't know, man. They already put like $1 billion into that shit, so
Yeah,
so you gotta
exactly.
keep it
Yeah,
right,
it's sad when that happens because even the fans of movies or whatever they miss out ultimately on something
right?
that
Like
could
if they
have
want
been
to see like action that isn't, but then again, I understand it's still a business, so I'm sure that they're doing something that they know is palatable to the mass market,
hmm.
right? Because like
Yeah,
I'm sure these action guys, they make some really awesome shit behind closed doors that you would never get to see because it's too niche, right?
right.
It's not marketable.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of kind of Hollywood and modern cinema in general, is there anything that stood out to you in the last few years as being truly impressive? A film maybe that you've
Hmm.
stumbled across, or are you
A-
kind of one of those guys that's just like, fuck modern films? The 80s and 90s are the best.
No, no, no. Actually, okay. I think the first thing that pops into my mind is that sniper movie that you showed me from China. Like you have no idea. I think that is amazing. Like
Yes.
it's like whoever the director or whatever, because obviously that there's not a lot of budget, but
Yeah.
whoever the director or the production is, like they understood how to use practical effects, and it's obviously it's not. I think being a filmmaker, I understand what they're going for,
Yeah.
and I guess I'm adding extra levels to the techniques that they're doing because I see the ultimate vision, right?
Yes.
And it's like, holy shit, whoever directed this or whatever, they understood like Hong Kong action gun cinema,
Yeah.
but now with the technology and not a lot of budget, but like it's awesome. And it's the it's the guy from Iron Monkey, right?
You wrong
Yeah,
Guang, I
right.
believe. Yeah, he's in it. If anyone's wondering what the film's called, I can't tell you. It's one of the 600 sniper films that
Mhm.
China have made recently. But it's the one with Yu Rong Guang in it from Iron Monkey, and
Right.
he may be in a bunch. I don't know, but it's one particular one with him in
It's fucking awesome. Like the gun, like it's updated John Woo.
it.
It's
Yeah,
kind of like how Manhunt would be if they gave John Woo more time and
yeah,
money. I feel
yeah.
like it's that. I was like, that's one. And I think because of that, like I think I've been really enjoying a lot of the stuff from Japan now. I used to be not. I
Right?
did stuff in Japan, and like I have my own ideas back then where when I was like trying to choreograph in Japan, and like the way that I would do it was very much like reminiscent, I guess, of like the older kung fu stunt families
Hmm.
there. And so like the people I work with are like, oh, that looks like really weak, you know.
Okay.
They would say when I would like choreograph, even though it's not shot yet, it's like, oh, it's really weak. And my
Yeah.
explanation is like, oh, that I understand, but I'm sure if I punch you 10 times in the face in like 2 seconds, it would probably equate to one big punch in 2 seconds, right?
Right.
So I had like stuff like that before, but now, A Tribe, I believe, in the okay, I don't want to. You're not editing this, right?
I'm not. Well, it depends what you say. I can edit something
Okay,
out.
sorry. So I guess what I'm saying is like certain action ideas are
Hmm.
phasing out in Japan, and it's becoming more of this new wave of like not more flurries, like more combinations.
Yeah.
I really like it, right?
Yeah.
Like A Tribe and like like the Hydra people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like while their ideas have like from the past
Hmm.
20 years, I guess, like they have made their own. And I love that direction that they're going. I fucking enjoy the shit that A Tribe is doing. While, like the production itself or like the movies itself, I'm not really like into,
Yeah.
but seeing the action, like, dude, I love it. I absolutely love
I couldn't agree more.
it. Mhm.
I think I just started watching the Kingdom series
Oh, I didn't see that yet.
on Netflix. I watched the first two, and the action in that is really something impressive, and it feels fresh. It feels new.
Mm-hmm.
The sword play is fantastic. It's not quite Rurouni Kenshin, but
Mm-hmm.
it's up there with some really impressive stuff, and I'm a huge fan. And like you, I think Hydra and Baby Assassins 3 is
I haven't seen it yet.
oh,
Oh my
it
god,
is.
they're so yeah, dude. Like that. Like Saori and all of the newer stunt people
Yep.
like in her, I guess, generation, dude, they're
Yep.
all they're all actually pretty good. I mean, obviously it needs
Unbelievable.
refining because some of them are like still babies to me, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the style of action, I really love it. And I think it's funny seeing, I guess, like the cycle of evolution of martial arts action and and what I've seen in my life. Like before it was like especially like in America, right? Like we had something from Jason Bourne to like
Yep.
now, right? Like now we're actually seeing choreography. I guess something like Jason Bourne to like I don't know, like Batman
Yeah.
fight scenes, right? Like
Yeah.
that's like a big change, but
Hmm.
you know, I it's still like superhero, so it's still very there's still like those moments of like how do I say it? I feel like a lot of superhero action, what I don't like about it is that every move has to look like a pose,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So like it's always like the big hits every time,
Yeah.
but sometimes I want to see like just like
Yeah.
combinations, right?
Some
Because no one's
smaller
just
and
gonna
more
throw one.
intricate stuff, I guess,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, yeah,
it's that,
more
right?
yeah, more exchanges. There's very rarely proper
Exchanges, yes.
exchanges. Yeah, it's I get what you mean. It's like, haymakers and
Yeah.
then a pose. Yeah.
Yeah, like brawl and falls, right? That's what I mean. Like these bad guys run in,
Yeah.
they get knocked out, and it's like you stunt guy, right, or whatever, and it's just like on loop, and it's like I don't know. I would want like the bad guys to like put up a fight. I think.
Yeah. No, I get
Yeah.
it. I get what you mean.
Right.
I'm not anti superhero or anything like that,
Mhm.
but I do believe that some of the action just doesn't work. And if you think of the best action that, let's say, Marvel has to offer, it is with those exchanges. It is Winter
Mhm.
Soldier, it is Shang-Chi that have
Yeah.
more kind of choreographed, intimate fighting. So,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
Right.
Um,
Because Captain America doesn't have fucking lasers and shit, right? Like he has to
exactly.
like punch and kick and flip, but
Exactly.
like they choreograph that well. Like I really love Winter Soldier. Like
Yeah.
that's like one of my favorite like Marvel movies simply because of like how human Captain
Yeah.
America is compared to I don't know Spider-Man just webbing and flipping. It's hard to. But then again, you wait a minute. Spider-Man actually does have a martial art. In the comics, he has like a martial art called Way of the Spider,
Oh,
and it's
does
an out yeah, and it's a full martial art. Even Superman has like a martial art.
I, yeah, I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
guess
it's
I
like
guess they have to though, because they're otherwise, how are they gonna fight? You have to
right.
know how to fight. Superman, granted, Superman can just like punch people
Yeah,
through walls, but he has to know how to fight.
I don't know why. I remember just reading this before. Like, yes, Superman has like some sort of like he has a martial art that's both mental and physical, and
Mm,
it's like something like it almost sounds Vietnamese to me or something. Like it's like vo something and vo something else. One is like the mind, one is the body. So he actually like I think I don't know why he has a martial art,
Yeah.
but apparently he does. But yeah, especially in Spider-Man too, as well. So the thing is like ultimately those powers, I don't know. I guess it kind of gets boring after a while too, right? Like watching.
I think so. I think if it's not freshened up, I think
Mm-mm.
it can definitely look the same
Yeah.
over and over.
But I think that's also the problem. Like how do you keep expanding on that, right? Then it
Yeah,
gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then
exactly.
where does it go, right? Like,
Yeah, there's only so many things Hulk can pick up or punch or whatever it may be.
right?
So yeah, I understand when people talk about superhero fatigue. I get it. I get it. I'm a
Mm.
sucker. I still watch them all, but funny enough, the one I'm looking forward to more than anything is actually the Daredevil TV series, because it's
Mm,
grounded. It's proper choreography from what I can
right.
tell. So I'm excited for that.
I
But
mean, yeah, he doesn't have superhuman powers, right? It's just the
no,
idea of like he just trained himself. So
yeah,
I
you can just fight.
yeah, it's just fun. So that's why, yeah, I guess like the Punisher as well. It was kind of fun watching their style of
Yeah,
gun choreography, where it's like a rough John Wick,
right.
not kind of
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So I love that too. I think.
yeah. I am a big fan of like grounded heroes and kind of
Mm,
street level, as they call them, street level heroes. I'm
mhm,
I'm a fan of those. Um, so I wanted to ask you about a challenge or a what I am wondering
mhm,
whether it was a challenge or not. But early on, you decided to use women, primarily women, in your short films.
mm,
Well, Steph and Ange are in a lot of your stuff.
mhm.
They're both incredible. But originally, did you see that as a challenge, or were you like, no, I've always wanted to do action with women. I want to showcase them,
Mm,
or yeah, how
I
what's your
the thing
mentality?
is, yeah, I think because of Steph,
Yeah.
I think when I first started working with her, it was kind of difficult. Like I couldn't I guess me like I couldn't really understand what was missing. And I
Mm,
think it was the way that she would throw her attacks. It's not power, it's just sharpness, right? But
mm,
sometimes sharpness, when I'm asking her to like, hey, I need you to do this choreography this quick, that intensity or that sharpness doesn't really show through the camera.
right.
But obviously, if you see like a bigger dude, that can like, it looks like they could throw their weight around. It's
Yeah.
without even sound effects, you can tell like, okay, there's like force behind that, right? So it was difficult because like all I had were me and other male stuntmen like she would
Yeah.
be fighting against. So it was hard, but I would but then when she was saying about Jet Li and stuff, I really try to kind of choreograph for her the way that I saw Jet Li does things, I guess.
Okay.
But eventually, obviously it evolved to how it is now. But I think I got lucky because Angela came into our group and she was like working with, I think when she turned 19 or something, she worked with a sister group that we had. And they did like a practice fight scene. And um, she like, and we found out she like lives like, probably like 30 minutes away from us. So it's really
Oh,
close. And the other guy lives in North Jersey, almost like close to New York. So he had to like 2 hours down, right?
okay.
So Angela started working with us more simply because of just the distance. And having now I had like two girls, two that are close to the same weight,
Yeah.
and they could do fight scenes. That I think that really lucked out on me. But then because of that, I think we were able to uh, ask other female stunt women to be part of things
Oh,
because I
yeah.
have proof of con right of these two fighters that are female and they do martial arts. And, you know, I think it lucked out, but eventually I started picking up on how they move. And I think that's also the thing too. Like I really had to also learn their martial art. So
Oh, yeah.
I could choreograph for them. So I do a lot of research and I really do love martial arts, what I'm saying. So I do
Yeah.
a lot of research. So Steph does growing up, um I learned WTF Like taekwondo, well, I didn't learn it. I was around people that did it, so I kind of like learned it too. And I was teaching at a school that did
Okay.
that. But hers is ITF, and that's kind of like a really different. And then learning how she does that. Then like Ange was much more kind of close to the people that I work with, like growing up with the taekwondo style, like the American sports karate kind of
Yeah.
taekwondo style. It's a mix, so it was easy for her. And plus, like Ange, the way that she's her body build, she has mass, and
Hmm.
she trained very um like she did a lot of Muay Thai growing up too or something, so I could translate those moves and it makes it a lot easier. So having two girls doing very different styles, but somehow it worked, and I think I just started learning better. And now we're getting to work with other people. I think there's one stunt woman that we're working with recently. Her name is Alejandra, and she like first off, she's like a polyglot because like she like traveled the world,
Oh,
and her main style is wushu, so it's a lot easier for me to translate. But she's
okay.
like really learning how to do I guess like the Hollywood style too, and
Yeah.
it works. Like it's easier to work with now, right?
Yeah. It's such a it's such a unique thing you have about your channel that
Hmm.
um a lot of your videos are with Steph and Angela, and it's so I personally I think it's fresh to see. I think seeing two women on screen that are basically hard as fucking nails. I mean, they're swinging kicks and fucking throwing punches, and
Right.
with the best of them.
Right.
And you don't. I don't know what the best word is to use. Let's use this. This is a safe word. You don't glamorize them. You don't.
Oh,
You don't do anything like that with them. I don't.
yeah,
I guess sexualize is the word that
yeah.
I should use, but you don't. You do it for the action rather
I
than.
well yeah, because one, I mean, because like I think martial arts is definitely, there is no idea of gender. I just see fighter, right? Like, or at
Ah,
least
yeah,
the
okay.
concept, right? Because
Yeah.
like I know I'm not the only one. I know that like Vlad has a lot of like female stunt
Yes.
women too, and they look like they fucking throw down. They hit hard, completely different from. I'd like to think that we do different things, right? Because
Yeah.
like mine's a little more not as punchy and hard like that. Like those are those people are like full-fledged like stunt women, while
Yeah.
like I know Steph is more of like an action actress. She's not trying to be a stunt woman,
Right.
you know but at the same time, while yes, one, I don't want to sexualize them, because like in a weird way I don't want to cheapen
Yeah.
the, how do I explain, because like it's not just one side. It's not that benevolent, I guess I'm trying to say, because like another part of it too is that I know that we've had a lot of people that we work with, and that's one of their suggestions. Like, oh, why don't you just put like Steph and Angela in bikini? Like,
Yeah.
because then I'm cheapening myself. Because like
Yes.
the amount of work I put into the choreography, and how much I really care and
Yep.
I love for it. It's like, if that is the only thing that people see, it's like girls in bikinis doing fight scenes, then
Yep.
like I feel like, well, where the fuck is like my work, right? Like
Yeah.
like I'm putting the fight scene together, right?
Of
Which is
course. Yeah.
a lot. So it's not, it's not just completely one sided. I'm not just doing it for the girls, I'm doing it for me too, right? Like
Yeah.
it's more of, it's like, hey, it's like my fucking work is on there, my name deserves to be on there too. Like that's what I feel like.
That's
So
awesome. That's a
yeah.
great attitude to have. I know exactly about that. Even though it's not the same with me, but I know
Mm,
I run a, let's say, fairly large Instagram account
mm.
for being so niche, and the amount of people, I don't get it too much anymore, but the amount of people that used to message me and just post girls in bikinis fighting, post this naked fight, post it, and it's just like, fucking dude, calm down, just fucking go and type it into Google, because I'm
Yeah,
not gonna fucking post it.
because I, there are definitely websites
Yep,
specifically for that. Um,
absolutely.
one I knew, like the creator, because he was like talking to me about it, and sorry, Deadly Dimes. If you guys want to check that out, like that's one, right? And like and honestly, there was a point in time that I really wanted to, because I think it's funny, because like I was asking him stuff like, oh, can I just go like crazy then, right? In
Yeah.
terms of that, because it's still another, while it might be another set of parameters, like
Hmm.
I still could stretch my creativity with that, and as long as everybody's okay with it, right? Everybody's
Yeah,
okay with
yeah,
it, right? But that's also the time where like I had another like health bout and I couldn't work, and I really wanted to work with those people because like they were actually nice, and I met like I guess action actresses that are willing or wanted, not
yeah,
even willing, that's the thing that they wanted
yeah,
to do, right? And I'm like, I have crazy ideas and I think it would be really cool that you guys could, whatever, and I wouldn't be not proud of it. Like it's not like I'm still an artist, like I still, I don't think that censoring that type of concept,
yeah.
for the sake of like modesty is not. I don't think that's good for the arts, really. Sometimes you just need to venture in one way and see if it works or it doesn't work.
Yeah, I fully agree. If there are
Mm,
consenting adults that absolutely
mm,
just want to make that content, then why not? There's an audience
right?
for it, and
Yeah,
people are willing to do it, and there's probably a good audience for that. Do it. But if it if
right.
it sacrifices any of your integrity to do
Yeah,
it, then maybe don't do it. I think
yeah.
that's
I guess that's the thing, right? Like you have to know how much you're willing to pay for the success that you want.
yes,
And then I feel like once you there, I'm sure one day you'll find your limit or close to that limit, and then you decide like, am I willing to push the limit more, or like
yeah,
I know where mine is now, right? Like I said, I don't, not trying to sound too benevolent here, but yeah, like this family of mine, right?
yeah,
I really want to protect them too, and there's a lot of not good people, both professional and indie, and I need to stop that at that, you know, nip it
yeah,
in the bud.
yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
as
Yeah, I
I
mean, you found, like you said, you found your family, and what you do is wholesome and legit and creative, and I think you
thank you
have
so
a
much.
you have a very nice bubble, where
Mhm.
uh hopefully you are not affected by the shitty people in the industry, and
Oh,
hopefully it brings you nothing but good stuff. And
right.
yeah, I think that's a I don't know what the word is. I guess that's an atmosphere I get from Art School Dropouts in general. I mean, I'm lucky, obviously I've met you and I've
Yeah.
hung out with you, and
You
we
see how
we
we work. We
yeah. But I think there's a great um it's great to see that there is no bullshit between you guys. There is
Hmm.
no falling out or anger, or
Oh no.
I've got this I want to do, and it's just arguments and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I think in a lot of industry types, you get that. You get the bitterness and two-facedness, or whatever you want to call it, and you get that in every
Hmm.
industry. You get that in the
I
industry I work in. But I think with you guys, from what I've experienced, it's just good, right?
I think I mean honestly, I think I'm very much blessed and amazed that after 10 years ish of like working every day with each other, and Steph and I are not trying to kill each other. Like I think that's amazing, right? And we still we definitely argue, but I also always know that when we argue about something, it's because we're trying to get to the same place, but in our different ways.
Yeah,
So I never take it like, oh, this person's trying to undermine me, right? It's
yeah,
like we want to we want to do better in life, right? So we
right.
want to get there, and like she has her perspective because of what she does, and I have my own perspective. So it's like, okay, well, let's, I know that I might get mad, obviously, like, both sides, right? Like I
Yeah,
think but that's very, obviously I think it's healthy to be mad, but then you have to, it's the work, the what you do afterwards, right? You have to
right.
work together, because it's not, certain things happen that are accidents, or like unforeseen circumstances that, you're not, no one wants to happen.
Yeah,
So, you could be mad at it, but then, move on, right? So
yeah.
I'm not really trying to, because that's a weird thing. Like I'm not, I don't want to hold like animosity towards them when we're working towards the same goal, and
Exactly. Yeah,
right.
yeah, exactly. That's great. Have you ever asked, not necessarily just Steph, have you ever asked anyone to do like a particular move or like a piece of choreography, and they've just been like, "No, that's too difficult. Go fuck yourself."
I No, well,
No.
no, actually, I think it's because the way that we choreograph, it's not that. If you really think about it, it's not difficult. It's just more of I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm asking like basic stuff, but it's the com combining them together is what
Okay.
makes it difficult, right?
Okay.
So some people are like, they really get hyped, like, oh, I really want to do that. But if they can't, I would say something like, hey, we could add a cut, you know.
Hmm.
But they're like, no, I could do it. I'm like, no, it's the same feel. It's the same feel, just an extra cut. I still like, and my goal is when these people know that, like, when I tell them, like, my goal is to make you look good, right? Like, I have no ego or whatever. Like, my whole goal when we're doing this project,
Yeah.
whoever's on camera, I want them to look good because that reflects my vision, right? And
Yeah.
then people kind of are more appreciative of what I'm trying to do because, like, ultimately, I want them to look good. Like, there's no
Right.
there's no reason for me not for them to look good, or else I'm gonna look bad, right? So it's part of the work, right?
Do you think, as a fight choreographer and director, and someone who, I guess, cinematographer, do you find, or do you think, I should say, do you think you can make a bad on-screen fighter look good?
I always believe that I can make a bad on-screen fighter to look good, and then I get them on screen, and it's really hard to make them look good. It's I I definitely overestimate a lot of people's ability
Hmm.
when it comes to martial arts. I think
Right.
I think anybody could throw like two punches clean, right? Or believable.
Yeah.
But then what I'm asking for is like, you know, black belt. Like, all I'm asking is basics, but then strung together in a particular way that makes it difficult. That's when it becomes weird. And then I see people throwing weird back kicks, and they're doing weird, like, they'll say like, oh yeah, I'm a really great kicker, like sometimes they're like, yeah, that's awesome. And I'm like, oh, can you do like basic taekwondo stuff? And now they're doing some weird like chicken arms when they're trying to kick high. And I'm like, okay, you need to train more.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I can tweak the choreography to still make it look good, but like, obviously, like, please, like, I'm no ego. Like, just tell me what you can or cannot do and be honest with yourself. But some people, I think they look at themselves and they think if they could do one kick, they could do like 10 kicks. Right.
Right.
And that's the difficulty. I guess that I never am able to really um able to ask people. Like, they'll
Yeah.
say like, oh, I'm a black belt, but then a black belt doesn't really there's no actual standard for any school, right? Like,
Yeah.
so until like, so I have to ask like, hey, can you show me videos? Can I see what you do? And
Yeah.
I hate it when these people never send me anything, right? And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
gosh. So then the choreography that I have to plan for before that is like kind of like lowest common denominator, and hope that
Yeah.
they can do it. And then
Yeah.
it's not, then it's just, now I'm just doing basic shit again, right? So it's not like I can't. I think that's the problem too of working for people that I haven't got to work before, and they kind of don't really help me in assessing their ability, whether they're hiding it or not. I'm not
Right.
sure. But and I try to like let people know, hey, like, my whole goal is to make you look good. That's the idea, right? That's why if I'm working with you, I don't care if you're just a lowly stuntman or like the star of the show. Like, I want to make all you guys look good. That's the idea.
Yeah.
So please tell me what you can do or show me. I promise I will do my very best to make everybody look good.
Yeah, of course. You're trying to put out the best thing possible, and to do
Right.
that, you want people to look good. And I think it's interesting what you say, where someone can throw one kick and they all of a sudden think they can throw every kick in the world. I think
Right.
it's the same mentality with, for example, I'll use me as an example. I think in my heart of hearts and my brain, I could choreograph the best fight scene in the
Sweet.
world. But I know you get me on set and ask me to choreograph, I'll fall apart. I just won't know what to do at all.
But I think though, there, in my heart of hearts, I don't believe there is bad choreography. Right.
Okay.
I really do think that any choreography is viable as long as it's, the problem is that if everything is like a balance,
Yeah.
the choreography could be bad, but if you have really good people, they could make that look good, right?
Right.
And how
Right.
you shoot it or whatever. But that's that's the problem, right? You can't, it's so hard to balance that out. It's
Right.
kind of like
Yeah.
you'll never really, so that's a problem. And like
Yeah.
trying to shoot, and then when you have a particular style already, when I like to do Hong Kong stuff, and like we're saying like, oh, one guy could like think that, oh, I could do one kick, but they can't do that one kick five
Right.
times
Yeah.
like in a row, right? And then when my whole choreography is based on combinations, it's yeah, then it becomes like I don't know what to do, right? Like I'll do the best I can, and I just have to ask the stunt guy, So there's like I think there's mathematical formulas to make a fight scene good, but
Yeah.
obviously you need to have the resources to do that.
Exactly, exactly. Have you ever worked with someone who's just truly blown you away as a martial artist, where you've just been like, "Oh shit, like this person's legit."
Like out of nowhere, I think definitely well, like Angela and Steph for the first time,
Hmm.
right? Actually, wait a minute. So we well now he's kind of transitioning to more of a coach, but one of our earlier stunt guys, name is G.
Hmm.
He but he was already like a fighter before everything. Like, he wanted to get into moves because he thought it would be fun, right? So, but Golden Glove champion like multiple times.
Oh,
He like,
okay.
so the first it was kind of like we were doing it for like Auntie long time, like not even like the Auntie movie. It was just the web series Auntie, right? And
Yeah.
I think he messaged me a long time ago. I don't know where, right? So it's on YouTube or something like that. And it's just like, I live like North Jersey, would love to learn or
Hmm.
something, right? And I think I messaged him in private and I said a joke, something like, well, it's like, it's going to be Christmas Eve, like 2 days from now. We could come there. I'm not doing anything. He really showed up, right? And then like I was like, what the fuck? So we start doing stuff. Like I was doing stuff, and obviously this guy's like a real true fighter
Yeah.
and doing stuff, and it was hard to have like it was really hard to work on them on the first day. Right? I was like, oh my god, I don't think I could help this guy.
Hmm.
But then I think the next day we were like just doing a practice video, and I think I said something like, dude, you're just basically kind of hitting mitts, and something clicked in his head, and then he was like my favorite stunt guy for like
Wow.
years, right? Because like after that, like because when I said like, and he was still transitioning from fighter to like movie stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're just like hitting mitts. He's like, oh, okay. And he's doing it, and he's like super, like obviously a champion. He's like precise, and he would
Yeah.
hit the air where I want it to be, so I would never get hurt. But it felt like I've always said it. Like I have this term now, it's called the G effect. When it's somebody turn like they're a fighter first before they become stuntman, and they do that, and there's this aura like trying to do a fight scene with him before
Yeah.
when he wasn't able to do stunt stuff yet, or like he wasn't a stunt guy kind of yet, the mentality. It felt like I'm putting my hand on a grenade. Like the idea, like it's the aura, you feel it, and the way that the sharpness, it looks like if I am lazy right now and I make a little tiny move, that punch is going to knock my head off and I'm going to be
Wow.
out, right? So that's why I call it G effect. Like recently, that's why we're working with this Filipino grandmaster.
Yeah.
Like I said, older gent. I was working with him this week, and so I was doing a fight scene with him, and it's a stick versus Wing Chun blade,
Mm.
and the first few cuts, I there's something off. Like I couldn't move, and it was just like because I'm asking this guy to like hey, I want you to perform at like your utmost, like, and it just felt like scary. Then I'm like, oh, I get it now, and I had to kind of like reset my brain cells or something. But
Wow.
we have some pretty yeah. I was really trying to like kind of recreate the feeling of the Donnie and Wu Jing thing. I'll show you
Okay.
after this, right? You
Okay.
you tell me, but
That's cool. Is that for one of your projects as
yeah,
well?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a proof of concept for hopefully a bigger thing,
Oh,
and
nice.
hopefully we could market it to those people, and hopefully they say yes, and feature film or whatnot. But
Wow.
as of now, it's whatever happens is going to be on our channel regardless anyway. So
Okay. Okay.
right.
Um. So I guess we've gotten to a good point. What are you excited for the future? Do you see anything in the future? Are you
Definitely.
working on anything big for the future that you can talk about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I think this year we're doing like kind of like a reset on our stuff, because I think for the previous 2 years we've been it was a good learning experience working with everyone else and trying different genres, I guess.
Hmm.
But I haven't been able to really focus on like art school dropout shit. The
Yeah.
weird shit, I guess I'm saying, right? And
Yeah.
I really love the weird shit, and I think it makes us happy, right? And l- so we're that's what we're doing. Obviously the feature film that I showed you like literally like last year,
Yep.
finally putting it out this year, right?
Awesome.
With all of the voice. Speaking of which, I need to ask you later. For I messed up and I need one more line from you.
Okay.
But anyways, that's for another thing. But yeah, so there are a lot of things coming out this year, and
Yeah.
I know that you guys know that I'm still working with Michael Jai White, and there might be. I want to just say might be right, like the projects starting this year that I'm probably going to uh do action for,
Okay.
choreographer, or second unit for, who knows, like, well, whatever life is willing to give me, I'm happy, because, like,
That's
I
awesome.
like, yeah. So, but yeah, hopefully, I think what we learned in the past 2 years, working professionally and working with other people on I guess there's more data on what we know what people would like, and we had a lot of scripts before,
Yeah.
features, and I think the skill set too, we built it up from doing sketches all the way now. Like now, I for some odd reason I can't write a fucking story less than 10 minutes for some odd reason, right? When before I was having difficulty making a 3-minute story.
Yeah.
So now I realize, oh, I could write a scene, and now building movies and stuff, and like I think hopefully in the next 5 years we'll make another two features, you know,
Nice.
two or three, hopefully. But a lot of other stuff, and I'm just really happy for the future. I know that a lot of people sometimes they think it's scary not knowing what's going to happen, but I think that's the joy.
Yeah.
Um, what was that? What's that drunken master quote? Like, life is like a flowing river, right? You never step in a flowing river twice, right?
That's it. I think so. Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say, but yes, keeping it kung fu here. But yeah, so though I'm very happy, and like there's a lot more stuff, and that's why for everybody watching this, my feature film has Sean in it. So watch it when it comes out. I think it'll be awesome.
I do have a little brief role in there,
Yeah,
which I appreciate.
love it.
Um,
Thank you
and
for doing that. Really.
no, not anytime. Before anyone asks as well, it's not a fight scene. This is not what you think it is. This is not what you think it is. Yeah, I am. I am not fighting.
Oh man, well, we did choreograph for you in the background of
Oh,
your.
see, that's I won't even go into it. That reveals how shit of a mover I am. That I can't even literally. Joey, I think went through 3 moves or 4 moves with me. I
Yeah,
literally could not do them. My brain was just not wired to do them. But I was also quite sick that day, so that's my
I think,
excuse.
yeah, you were, yeah, but else that's no, that was good though. But like I like I love the fact that you're like part of all of this, man. Like
Oh yeah, it's a pleasure. Yeah, it's an absolute honor and pleasure. I consider myself very, very lucky to be friends of the Art School Dropouts, and yeah, sometimes we
so
meet
kind.
up and hang out, and hopefully, I'll be at Urban Action Showcase again this
Hell
year.
yeah, dude.
So yeah, that's it. By the way, if anyone's interested, New York in November, right? Is it
Yes,
every
no,
November?
usually November. Yes, yes.
Head to the Urban Action Showcase. It's amazing. You'll meet
Mhm.
great people and see great films, including some Art School Dropout stuff on the big screen, which
Yeah, this
is
this year should
sweet.
have a lot of stuff, and I really do want to push. Like UAS actually really started, or I guess restarted my love for filmmaking, because, like I said,
Yeah.
after all of the health stuff, I try to get away from it all, but then Demetrius, long time ago, he hit me up and it's like, hey, I would really like your Act of Fate movie that I made like 13, 15 years ago. And
Oh
I was like,
wow.
it's cringy, but and that's when it like kind of started. And he put it on there, and I got to meet, Vincent Lin, and that was in our one of our web series, Bobby Samuels. And like
Yeah.
Vincent Lin, if you guys don't know, he's like the main bad guy of Operation Condor,
Yep.
right? And then Bobby Samuels, obviously, like one of the first black stuntmen in Hong Kong,
Yep.
right? And then
Legend.
right, these guys are legends, and I got to meet them, and like they're in my YouTube videos. That's fucking wild to me, right? And like, it might not mean much to other people, but to me, it's like, holy shit, like, who, what the fuck
Oh,
is happening, right?
I understand. I mean, for everyone watching, I was able to meet Bobby Samuels thanks to Joey and Art School Dropouts at the Urban Action Showcase.
Yeah.
I have a photo with Bobby Samuels, and literally, it's the best. I have photos from my wedding day. I like less than my photo with Bobby Samuels. I'm like just like, oh my god, it's me and fucking Bobby. It's
Dude,
unbelievable. Yeah,
it's crazy, and I think I love the message that Urban Action always has. It's like everybody just needs a chance, right?
yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
needs to start, right? So that's why I think I was saying it before, where I know a couple of, I know like directors that have stopped going there because they don't feel like their work is being highlighted in an elite like level. But that's
Okay.
not the point, right? Like
Yeah.
the it gave me a restart in my love and my career doing
Yeah.
this, and I really would love to see more people, younger generations, like like come in, show us your, it doesn't matter what skill level, because like that needs to be celebrated,
Right.
right? The fact alone that people are doing, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. It is such a special event to be able to see people's work and appreciate people's work that unfortunately maybe not won't get enough eyes on their work
Yeah.
elsewhere. And in Urban Action Showcase, you get kind of the newbies, let's call them, who are kind of new
Mhm.
to it, and then you get the kind of veterans, and it
Mhm.
runs the gamut, and it's just
Yeah, it runs like the whole spectrum. So it's
yeah,
it's okay to see like somebody like, oh, I shot this on my phone and they're like literally brand new.
yeah,
Then right after it's like like a 20-year like fight coordinator doing stuff with their like very professional stunt team,
yeah.
like those guys. And I think it's awesome. I just to be there, being able to connect with people with more knowledge and like pass on the knowledge. I think that's a very martial arts thing to do, right? Especially we're in this thing,
Yeah,
like
yeah, it's it's such a good atmosphere there, and
mhm.
I couldn't believe this. Conan Lee was there from Ninja and the Dragon's Den. He wasn't
Right?
presenting. He wasn't doing anything. He was just chilling.
He was just there, right? And the funny, like I know there's also weird things too. Like we had to take and just randomly the WMAC masters were like just there promoting themselves. Like what the hell? Like cool, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I saw posts that they're apparently bringing it back, and I
Oh,
don't know
really?
how that will work in the
Interesting.
current landscape. But
Yeah.
hey, man, I'm in it. I'm proud of them.
Yeah, it's crazy who you might meet at these places. Yeah.
All right.
I asked Conan Lee for a picture and he looked at me like I was fucking crazy. He was like, "A picture with me?" I was like, "Dude, do you not realize who you
Like,
are?"
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't understand. Yo, like some of these people, you guys are fucking legends. Like, at least
Yeah.
to us, right? The people that's here.
Yeah.
Like, how do you and
Exactly.
that's and the for them to keep that like I guess like they're still human. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? Right? Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, dude, you have no idea how much you have influenced my life.
Yeah.
And like, please
Exactly.
understand that, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
It's unbelievable. I know, Angela Mao has a restaurant in New York, and
New
apparently
York, yeah,
at some point she didn't even like talking about her films. She was like,
right?
"No, I'm all about the restaurant business now. I don't want to talk about them."
We
Um,
should go. Have you
oh,
been?
fucking hell, no! I'd love to.
Dude,
I'd
I would
love
love to
to.
go. I would love to go. Yeah,
I'm sure I can find out which one it is, but yeah,
yeah.
just to see her would be nuts. That'd be
That would
crazy.
be right. Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Uh, all right. I think we're good to wrap it up there, if that's okay with you. I know I kept you a
That's fine.
little bit longer
Oh
than
no, dude, I
expected.
love talking to you, dude. I really enjoy it. I think it's very rare for me to be able to like, go deep dive and
Yeah,
I know we were talking about me and in art school dropouts, but every time else that we talk about like just kung fu movies or
yeah.
action movies, we go super deep and it's a pleasure every time,
No,
man.
always. Always what you have to say about filmmaking and creativity, it always relates directly to the genre, and it's not.
Mm.
It never feels like these conversations never feel like an ego trip for you.
Oh man.
It's just a great
What
conversation.
have I done? That's what I think. I think people like when people think like there's ego, like dude, I have 3 jobs and I make movies that make no money. Like, trust me, there is no ego. Like, I'm very much humbled.
You're very
Uh,
humbled. You are a
yeah.
very, very humble person. Um, so I think we can say, everyone, go to Art School Dropouts on. Do you like them heading to the YouTube channel first?
Yeah, please check out our YouTube channel. Like that's where all of our videos are. Anyways, it's youtube.com/art school dropouts. But you guys could find us everywhere. Or just go to our website, artschooldropouts.com, and we have a link to everything that we do. And please, if you guys like what we do, please consider becoming a patron to our Patreon. It really helps us out to continue what we're doing. Like I said, I'm not lying when I say I have 3 jobs. All of us do, right? Because we are YouTube is not really the best place for indie filmmakers, especially martial arts, because they consider that violence, and we don't get monetized with a lot of stuff simply because but whatever it is, please check us out, and just you guys watching our stuff would make our day a bit better. Thank you so much though.
Yeah, and it's a guarantee you'll like at least a handful of their videos. You know,
At least one. There's at least one.
you have what I'm trying to say. You have quite a variety, which I always appreciate with your
Yeah,
channel.
me too.
Like you don't stick to just one thing. There's quite a variety on there. As for me, food for thought everywhere. Who cares? Just look me up. I'm on Instagram and stuff.
Hell yeah.
I have a podcast. Oh, actually, I have a new podcast. I have to make that up. I have a new podcast with the Fanatical Dragon and Martial Arts Theatre 3000. The podcast is called Mic'd Avengers. We are only 3 episodes in. The 4th episode comes out soon. Currently, it is audio only. We'll see how that goes from there. And yeah, check it out. We just talk in depth about martial arts movies. It's very different to the Food for Thought podcast. Food for Thought podcast, we joke around, we mess around, we have a bit of fun. I'm sat with 2 people that fucking hate kung fu movies. Whereas Mic'd Avengers, I'm sat with 2 people that absolutely love martial arts movies. So it's good stuff. Thank you so much, Joey.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate
always
it.
a pleasure. I appreciate it. And I'm sure at some point we'll do another one of these.
Oh, I'd love to. Please. I'd love to.
All right, awesome. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I appreciate you. Take care, and I will catch you next time.